Boy, oh boy, Jets fans. Boy, oh boy, is all I have to say about that one. The Jets are really good with making us change our opinion on games immediately. Because what I thought was going to happen, welcome to the Jet Press Podcast. My name is Mike Luciano. Justin Fried will, of course, be on in a couple minutes once he finishes up recapping this complete roller coaster of a game. What I thought was going to happen is I would come on here and get even more concerned about Aaron Glenn, about Tanner Engstrand, about Steve Wilkes, just slander Tyrod Taylor to a degree that I think he deserved because he put this team in such a hole that they were unable to really come out of it. And even a miracle play was just wasted as a result. But I'm left conflicted because I think what we saw in this game was a very bad team who is not coached amazingly right now, but it's 3 games into the tenure. They never gave up. And that sounds like you're giving praise for an 8-year-old team. You never gave up. You played hard. But these things matter, especially in terms of getting buy-in from your coaches. What I saw was a Jets team that is still very spirited and can still make big plays when they need to make big plays, but they just have some severe limitations on them right now that will prevent them from really winning many games this year and really providing us with a ton of confidence that things are going to shake out. So it's going to be tough in the short term, but I got to give them credit for at least not completely faltering. Thank you for tuning in to the Jet Press Podcast. You know where to find us on Apple, Google, Spotify, Overcast, wherever you get your podcasts. We are there. And on YouTube, you can subscribe. That helps support the show. You can like the stream. That helps support the show. You can pay 99 cents a month and get a membership. That helps support the show. So you can do all of those things if you want to go hear more Jets content because we got no shortage of content this week. This game gave us plenty of things to talk about. And I've made the postulation that the Jets are very much a Rorschach test right now, or at least they were in the first 2 weeks. If you're positive, you're going to look at that Steelers game and you're going to say, hey, this is what this team can be when Justin Fields is healthy and everything's clicking. And if you're negative, which I don't blame you for being, because how can you be positive? Because the Jets are now one of, I believe, only 6 or 7 winless teams, that are left. Chiefs and Giants play tonight. I'd imagine one of them is going to win. So probably be down to about 5 or 6 by the end of the round of action here. If you're negative, you're going to look at that Bills game and say, man, I knew it was coming. Aaron Glenn stinks. Engstrand will. Get them all out of here. Like, I get where that's coming from. And I'm going to be honest. As Maple Yankee says, that was one exciting way to cover the spread. You bet. You bet. Brian Sturm, I pronounced that word again. Look, man, I just drove 3 hours this morning. Pronunciations are, they might slip a little bit. But looking at the Jets right now, I'm going to be honest. First half, Bills game. Bills game in every sense of the word. Second half of the game, little Steelers adjacent as we welcome Justin Fried into the Jet Press Podcast on a day of conflicting emotions. I was just getting to the point, and Justin, I'd love to hear your take on this. The second half of that game felt like I was watching the Jets team that played against the Steelers, which is the team that I think we want to see and I think is ideally maybe close to what this team could be if everything ends up hitting right. But also, that first half was the Bills game part 2. And it got to a point where there was a lot of good plays in the second half. That defense is not very good, but they don't have anybody, and they just lost everybody they have due to injury. I mean, Azareye'h Thomas was on a Emeka Egbuka at the end of that game. That's just what they were forced into.
Yeah.
So I like the spirited effort, but they just dug themselves such a hole that even Will McDonald, with the highlight of his career to this point, was not able to save them. And it's disheartening. I know that's now, I guess, 2 moral victories, 2 close games against teams that have a combined 5-1 record, Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay, for whatever that's worth. But I still don't know how to feel about this because I can't just say that nothing good happened in the second half of that game. Like, there was a lot of things I think to be encouraged about, but they lost again. And for 2/3 of that game, the offense just couldn't do anything. And Tyrod Taylor looked like beyond washed for most of it. And then he came alive late.
Yeah, man. It's another moral victory, right?
Yeah, we're 2-1 on moral victories. So.
Another one. It's a different kind of moral victory because I feel like in week one, the moral victory takeaway was, boy, that offense looked really good. We might have an offensive coordinator. Justin Fields looked awesome. Like there's stuff to build on here. Defense needs work, but hey, man, they hung in there. They played great on offense, and they were a couple of plays away from potentially winning it. This moral victory is different because, like you mentioned, they were whooped for 3/4 of this game. I thought the defense, I know people will rag on them a lot, and so a lot of that is deserved. They folded at the end, and I don't think this is a good defense. Like you mentioned, they've lost a lot of pieces now, which hurts. But I thought for the most part, they hung in there, and this game could have gotten very out of hand if they didn't, because the offense was putrid. Like it was bad in a different way than last week. Like last week was worse. I think the quarterback play was worse, although I don't think Tyrod had a particularly good game for most of this game.
No, not at all.
Quarter. But it was bad. Like the offense could not do anything at all. And the defense was keeping them in it for the most part. And then all of a sudden the fourth quarter hits and they're down 23-6. And the Jets put together 2 consecutive scoring drives of 10 plus plays going like 70, 80 yards down the field. And all of a sudden we got a ball game. Now it's weird to see what, like, I would love to watch back and see if there was anything like schematic that changed. It didn't seem like the Bucs were playing more conservatively. I think on that first scoring drive, they were kind of blitzing a little bit less, typical Todd Bowles fashion of kind of just playing conservative defense late in the games. But that last drive where the Jets were able to score, like the Bucs were still sending guys. Like they were still sending 6, 7 guys, which, you know, they were doing the entire game, dude. This looked like a Brian Flores
found
defense.
Something in the Jets blocking scheme.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but Bowles figured it out.
Well, what it was they were sending 6 rushers every time. They were sending more blockers or more blitzers than the Jets had blockers. And because they were daring Tyrod Taylor to do literally anything, that wasn't 3 yards in front of him at the sticks or take a sack or take off when you're
or just wherever Garrett Wilson is, even if he's on the other hash mark.
Right.
30 yards down the field.
Correct, because we know that no one else in this receiving core is going to make a play. Although, I mean, Tyler Johnson made a couple late in the game. Although that's
had a crazy bad drop.
Drop that killed me, dude. That like out of all the plays, out of every play that's happened with the Jets this year, somehow that one made me the angriest. I was that, and then the Sauce Gardner DPI that was not DPI.
That was not.
I'm still very mad about that, but. Yeah, like that. They don't have anybody else in the receiving game. So the Bucs were able to sell out, and it's not even selling out in the run. It was like selling out on asking the Jets to do anything that's not the most conservative possible thing on offense, which for 3/4 of that game, they couldn't do. They finally figured out a little bit in the fourth quarter, and football is such a momentum game that you get a first down here or there, things start going your way, and you make a couple of plays. Like a lot of it was just momentum was on their side. They were able to come back, and it was a good performance by Tyrod Taylor in the fourth quarter, and the offense able to find their way back. But as in typical Jets fashion, the defense that had held them in the game for as long as they did, they folded at the end, which that's the thing about this defense is we've said this a lot about the Robert Saleh defenses. It's bend but don't break. For most of this game, the Bucs were able to move the ball relatively well against the Jets, but they weren't able to punch it in the end zone. The Jets.
I thought Baker particularly was exceptional today.
He was great. There were like 4 throws in this game where I'm like, well, that's perfect coverage. There's absolutely nothing you can do.
Buka had 2 catches where I'm like, Jesus, man.
I thought this was an extremely unlucky Sauce Gardner game, and I don't want to make excuses for a guy who's the highest paid player at his position because, look, you want to see him make plays, and I don't think he was good, but I also think some of this was like, man, what's he supposed to do? Like, genuinely, what is he supposed to do?
Buka had one, it was like one-handed over his head. I'm like, that's not,
What is he supposed to do? And again, I'm not going to make excuses for a guy making $30 million a year. Like, he should be better. I agree. But
he's also been locked down the first 2 weeks, and then okay.
No, I'm not worried about that. And fortunately, I don't know if you guys know. I don't know if you noticed, the Sauce was able to come back into the game at the end of that game. So
okay, that's good.
Does not have a concussion, I hope.
How about Azaria Thomas too, breaking up that pass?
Azaria Thomas made a good play, showing why. I mean, look, the one positive I'll say about Brandon Stephens is he is by far the most, other than of the starting 3 corners, he is the most physical tackler that they have. Like, it's not even close.
And that's a real asset, I guess.
It is. So. It actually is. He's made I don't want to say he's a good tackler because I still think he struggles to tackle in space. But I mean, you look at him comparing the Sauce Gardner and Michael Carter, who can't tackle anybody, right? Like that, he's a much better.
Carter has been just a real punch in him and Sherwood. I know I mentioned him a lot last week.
No, Sherwood's
also
just
been rancid this year.
Yep, they've been very bad. And now Quincy out with what I hope is not a long-term injury. Because because
McCrary Ball I saw was limping at the end there too.
Right, they're already on linebackers, but like especially for Quincy, this is somebody who deserved a payday in the offseason, had every right to complain. His teammate Jamie Sherwood, who I think we can all agree is worse than Quincy Williams. If that wasn't proven after last year, I think we all kind of agree with that now. got paid in the offseason, making $15 million a year. Quincy Williams is making $6 million this year, an average annual salary. He had every reason to complain, ask for a new contract. He didn't. And if he suffered a long-term injury this early in a contract year after not demanding a new contract in the offseason, I will be sick for him, and I will feel really, really bad.
5 memberships from Austrian Jet Fan.
Oh, I haven't even opened chat. I've not looked at chat at all.
There we go. 5 from Austrian Jet Fan.
What a guy. Thank you so much, buddy.
What a guy. Thank you so much, including Connor Long, the recipient of one of them. So thanks for tuning in here.
Shout out, Connor
Long. All right, let's get there. Were some positives, I think, in this game.
Yeah, I think we hit on a few of them. Like
Quinnen Williams is so awesome. Good. I know he was playing against Little Sisters of the Poor this game, but I mean, just wrecking.
Can we talk about how bad this Bucs O-line is? I mean, we talked about it going into the week.
I mean, Bucky Irving had like 65 yards on 25 carries or something like that. Phillips, I thought, was very good.
We did our Wednesday stream before, I believe it was announced that Cody Maw was out for the year. That was before that happened. So they started Luke Haggard, who I didn't know who this was before this week, at right guard, Elijah Klein at left guard, me at right tackle, and Graham Barton at left tackle. Like that was horrific performance from the Bucs O-line, and Quinnen Williams took advantage. I thought the Jets D-line did their best against that. Like, I think they played well in this game, as they should have. Sherwood, like you mentioned, not a good Jamie Sherwood game. I thought Malachi Moore popped a couple of times. He made a couple of nice hits. There were some positive takeaways.
Was anyone on the offensive line have an okay game?
For the Jets?
Yeah.
It was an especially bad Olu-Fashanu game.
Membu, maybe. I didn't hear him a lot.
O-line is hard to like evaluate in real time. Like I'm gonna have to go back and watch some of it, but I did think Olu-Fashanu immediately stood out to me as he's having a rough game.
Yeah,
I thought it was a bad Olu game. Tough to say about the other guys. I will say Vita Vea didn't seem like he made the biggest impact, although the Jets could not run up the middle. So probably a little bit.
There you go. I guess he did.
Probably a little bit there, but also probably the fact that they're putting 8 guys in the box every time because they have no concerns. And I'll say that's one of my biggest takeaways from this game. Despite
I will say too on the positives too before you probably got to go into a little more of a negative take.
Sure.
If it's this game is I thought for when they were pushed into that scenario. I mean, Mason Taylor didn't do a ton, but like this passing offense outside of Garrett Wilson is not very good right now.
No, we knew that. It's terrible.
Zaire Thomas and Malachi Moore, I thought both had plays where they popped.
There's no reason they should not be getting playing time in defense.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, obviously we know the whole Thomas Stevens thing. It was a couple drives in a game where, they were digging out from a big hole anyway. I get all that, but Thomas did not look out of place. Malachi Moore did not look out of place. And Membu looks good. So that looks like 3 players who at least look pretty good. And Mason Taylor, I think, is going to be pretty good once they figure out how to actually use them. So that's at least a good sign.
If they get a wide receiver, if they get an actual like NFL caliber wide receiver 2 or even a 3, they don't have either right now. They don't have a wide receiver 2 or a wide receiver 3.
They don't.
They don't. If they get a capable wide receiver 2, Mason Taylor is going to get a lot of targets. Like the game will open up for him. You're still seeing some of the mental errors. I think an underrated thing is his chip blocking has not been very good this year. He's had a few chips where I'm just like, he did not do enough there. So I think he'll just get better as the year goes on. That happens with young tight ends. That's not like Mason Taylor. I think he'll get his, but yeah, Malachi Moore, dude. Like this was better than anything Tony Adams has put on tape this year. Like through the first 2 games, which is a low bar to clear. But I know it sucks to lose an injury or lose a starting job because you got hurt. But the writing was on the wall for a while. I don't see any reason why if Tony Adams is healthy next week that he should be starting over Malachi Moore.
Now, I don't want to be as hard on the defense this week, as bad as they were in the first half. I mean, this is getting to like 2023 offensive line, just stringing duct tape, trying to fit a defense together.
The flaws are some stuff that's just not fixable. Like their edge.
Michael Clemens stinks. Okay.
Michael Clemens had a terrible game. Like, I don't want to say it. I thought Michael Clemens actually made a couple of nice plays early.
Yeah, he did. This was his best game of the year.
This was his best game of the year, and he still got blocked 10 yards downfield on a game-sealing play, essentially. Or what should have been a game-sealing play, and then Will McDonald blocked the kick.
But now the one linebacker they had was Quincy. He's hurt.
Yep.
The best corner they had was Sauce. I mean, he came back in, but he got banged up in that game. Jermaine Johnson was out. And he's their one edge defender who can stop the run.
You're playing with 2. Look, until Malachi Moore proves he's not, you're playing with 2 probably replacement level caliber players at safety. Andre Sisco's fine. He got beat on that. I forget who was that to. Was that to Ibuka?
Ibuka again, that's a crazy catch going.
Again, that was honestly not the worst coverage ever. Again, it's a lot of it. The Jets were playing.
God, he's so good. He is so good.
Ibuka's, dude, He's really, really good. Yeah, I know.
It was
Plus
like
Ohio State wide
then
receiver.
again, it was like when immediately we're like, oh, Garrett Wilson's pretty good.
Yep.
It's that same sort of.
And it's Jackson Smith and Jigba. It was less immediate with him, but it's still like now we're like, oh wait, he's really, really good. All those
Ohio State, they had 5 of them and they're all good.
Yep.
So the negative I want to get into, and I think because again, I'm not too hard again on Tanner Engstrand normally because week 1 was fantastic, number 1, and I just don't think he has a lot of the pieces to do what he really wants to do. But if I could, because again, it's not like his coaching career is dead right now. They're both, him and Aaron Glenn are 3 games in. So you learn, this is when you learn. You don't have it all figured out immediately unless you're just some Sean McVay once in a generation genius hire.
Look, this is as baptism by fire for an offensive coordinator you're going to get with this personnel group they got. Outside of Garrett and Brees, there are literally no like even above average playmakers in this offense.
Here are the 2 things that he has a problem with. One, it's very Gacy where he just runs up the middle in situations where it does not call for it. I mean, they were down.
Dude,
they were
that fourth and short run that pissed me off because that was like so you're going for fourth and like
3 inches. Let's give it to a guy who's starting 7 yards back.
Exactly. That was my gripe. It's like if you're going to run it up the middle, why is Braylon Allen lined up 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage? Like he has to run 8 yards to get the first down. While they're stacking.
Tyrod not sneak it? I don't know.
I don't know, man. Give it to like literally just have Braylon Allen pushing Tyrod behind him. Like push this shit. If you're going to go for it there, that cannot be the game plan. That cannot be the play call. That was the 10 times out of 10. That is not going to work. That had no chance of working.
Tanner Engstrand's big problem though is he gets so gun shy when his scripted doesn't work out. Like if he thinks immediately, like we saw with Fields last week, where again Fields was last week. Week 1 he was good, obviously. Week 2, no matter what you did, there was no way you were going to get a good offense out of him. The problem is if it doesn't work out, he gets so scared. He just stops. When the Bucs, I think it was this after the second drive, and then Tyrod started just checking down. Like not even attempting to go down the field.
There were a few plays that I thought they tried to do it. The issue is they were blitzing 7 guys every time, and the second they tried to do that, Tyrod was getting mollywopped by that Bucs pass rush. Like.
And the other problem that I have with him too, and I really don't know how you solve this because on one hand, what you're supposed to do, in my opinion, with this offense is try to get Garrett Wilson as many touches as possible. But sometimes it
Tyrod did that today.
The Rodgers-Vikings game where it's like we can't do anything else except get Garrett Wilson the ball. Well, the Tyrod play when he got the pick 6, which decided the game, by the way, that was emblematic because Tyrod Taylor has been around this league for a very long time. He should know better to do that. I think what was drilled into this offense's head the entire game is Garrett. And he's having a good year, and he looks pretty good.
You couldn't see it.
Nobody else is doing anything. I saw a stat from Brian Sternbeck I want to bring up here. Here we go. Garrett Wilson is on pace for 1,300 yards and 11 touchdowns. The next leading receiver is Breece Hall on pace for 442 receiving yards.
Is another wide receiver on this team going to get 350 yards? Like, I don't know.
No.
350. That's like wide receiver 4 territory. Like what you're usually getting for a wide receiver 4. I don't know if a single other receiver gets 350.
Especially if Taylor picks it up at the end of the year. I don't think so.
I don't know who it would be. Reynolds is missing time. Tyler Johnson isn't good, clearly. I don't know who it's going to be. Alan Lazard?
That was a whiff for both of us, man. We're like, oh, Sean McVay.
What sucks is Johnson's whole thing was he was sure-handed, and then he had that big – and I'm like, what the fuck? He has 2 drops already on like 5 targets this year. Like, come on, man. He's had like 3 drops his whole damn career.
All the things that the Jets do to piss us off, what always gets me mad is whenever they sign a guy and they're like, his whole thing is he never drops the ball, and then he starts dropping the ball. Yeah. Like, or Chuck Clark. His whole thing is he never gets hurt. He got hurt like a week. Like,
I know.
It's that kind of stuff where I'm like, okay, there's something – going on here.
Yeah, I do want to see. I'm going to have to watch back some of the tape because on that pick 6 to Garrett Wilson, you can't see on the broadcast, obviously, but I believe it was Zach Rosenblatt tweeted out that there are multiple other receivers open on that Garrett play. Obviously,
there were. You could.
I couldn't really tell from the broadcast angle, but I'm sure he's probably not lying. And that just goes back to what you said, like zeroing in on Garrett, which we knew Tyrod was probably going to do that coming into this game, that he was going to look to Garrett Wilson. This was going to be the guy that he's targeting. And to an extent, fair, understandable. You don't want to feed Tyler Johnson. You don't want to feed Alan Lazard. I'd like to get Arian Smith involved a little bit. He had that 1 catch in the first drive, and then I think he wasn't targeted the rest of the game.
He gave him a screen that got blown up immediately.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. Can we stop with the Arian Smith trick plays? They don't work. They
I don't know
don't.
why they think that's going to be his thing. Like, just
It's
let him be
not.
a
It wasn't his
receiver,
thing. It wasn't really his thing in Georgia either. Like that's not his thing.
They did, he's fast, so we can do
Right,
that.
he's
That's
fast, but no, teams sniff that shit out. Like they see Arian Smith in motion going into a bunch formation, they're gonna expect a little pop screen. Like that makes sense. They see Arian Smith in motion going to the backfield, they're gonna expect that end around.
The first half, I thought we were just going to get a lot of the backup quarterback game, just check down, but moving the ball a little bit. He's probably going to throw the ball 30 times and get 160 yards, but it backup quarterback, whatever. And then the fourth quarter, he came alive. I thought he actually made some plays, but the second and third quarter, just a complete white haze, just nothing, just a complete vacuum. He did nothing. I could barely even think of a good throw he made.
Yeah.
And Justin Fields, I think you might, I don't want to say put up with it. Put up with it's the wrong word, but might be more willing to work around it in a way because that's always been his game, is the ups and downs as younger. Yes. Like Tyrod's going to be 37 soon. Like you can't play like he did in that second and third quarter if you're going to be the steady veteran backup kind of thing. That pick six, Fields was bad. That pick six was maybe the worst play a Jets quarterback's made.
That's a Cam Ward type play. And let's be fair about this. Garrett Wilson
just floated up there too.
Garrett Wilson should come back for the ball. That shouldn't have been a pick six. Garrett Wilson needs to be more aggressive coming back to the point, the catch point. However, if you are a 36-year-old veteran quarterback and you are scrambling to your right and you throw all the way across your body late, this was well into the play, to the sideline, that is pick six city. That is the most common play to get pick sixes in the NFL, is late throwing across your body to the opposite.
Remember Darnold against the Lions?
Yes. And that was like his first play.
That was his first play ever.
Right. So understandable you're going to make that mistake. Tyrod's 36 years old. He can't be doing that. By the way, we're going to get to a lot of these comments. I want to get to a couple here. Brian in chat said Tyrod was running into contact that whole first half and they refused to call his QB sneak. Yeah. They can't be afraid of Tyrod getting hurt, because if that's the case, boy, they must have been petrified that whole game, because Tyrod was taking shot after shot.
Imagine Brady Cook against those blitzes.
Dude, oh my God. Brian also said, but they fed Lazard back-to-back end zone targets fourth quarter. Lazard couldn't believe the second was coming and almost dropped it. Yeah, and I said this on Twitter, and Alan Lazard touchdown there was the funniest possible outcome, until I realized that an Alan Lazard bobbling, almost dropped touchdown catch was even funnier. But before we get to the comments really quick, my biggest takeaway from this game, and it's going off of what you just said, the Jets need Justin Fields. And I'm not talking about the Jets needing Justin Fields that we saw in week 2. If that's the Justin Fields Jets are getting this year, then obviously he's not going to be starting for this team for very long if he's putting together performances like that. But the ceiling of this offense, and really the blueprint, like what this offense wants to be, they need a quarterback that has the ability to run the ball. Tyrod is a capable runner at this stage of his career. He does not strike fear into defenses. It was very clear that this the Bucs offense went into this game being like, we are not afraid of anything that you can do, so we're just going to blitz the hell out of you and dare you to beat us in any way possible. And the Jets
are 3 things you're going to do: run up the middle, slant or out route to Garrett.
Yeah.
Tyrod scramble.
And so what did they do?
One of those 3 things.
They just sold out on blitzing and playing the underneath passes, and it took away everything. It took away everything from this Jets offense. They couldn't do shit. At least with Justin Fields, you have the threat of the dual threat. Like you have the threat of Fields being able to take off. His rushing ability opens up the offense. And we saw it in week 1. And I'm not just talking the design runs. I'm talking about, hey, look, you're sending 7 guys after Fields playing man coverage. You have to be wary that if Fields is able to escape the pocket, he might run for 20 yards. You don't have that threat with Tyrod Taylor. So teams are able to just send 8 guys after you and hold up in man coverage, trying to, just get after the quarterback and force you to do literally anything else. And the Jets for most of this game couldn't do that. I know they, Tyrod had a couple of good drives in the fourth quarter. They found a little bit of momentum and rhythm on offense. And Will McDonald, dude, I called that on Twitter, by the way.
You did call that on Twitter.
I'm really mad that they didn't win the game now because of that. But I was like, Will McDonald. But I mean, I don't want to obviously that was based off
that final drive. They don't have anybody.
No, they don't.
They don't have anybody.
So yeah, that's why you need Fields. Like
they put Azareye'h Thomas on their best receiver one-on-one.
The floor of the offense is always going to be lower with Justin Fields, and we saw that in week 2. It is pretty much impossible for an offense to play worse than they did with Justin Fields at quarterback in week 2. So the floor is going to be lower. You will get more week-to-week consistency from Tyrod Taylor, but the ceiling, and more importantly, the offense the Jets want to be, which is what we saw in week 1. You need Justin Fields playing for that. So if you
just box score watch this game, you're like, hey, Tyrod did kind of okay.
Now,
watching it was it was not I
almost.
don't want to say not acceptable because at the end it got better, but like for most of it, that was the thing. They didn't even try anything different.
No.
For 2 quarters.
I think they tried a couple of times.
Different.
There was a couple of times where they tried. They sent like they had like 7 guys blocking and try to a shot play downfield, but they couldn't even get it off. Like Tyrod didn't let it go. There wasn't a play where they like threw it downfield. I think there were a couple where they tried to do it. Where there was, I guess that one. It was intermediate stuff and he dropped it. There was a couple where I thought they wanted to take a deep shot, where it was clearly like a longer developing play. They didn't have the blocking for it. The Bucs sold out and nobody was open, or Tyrod just didn't let it go. I don't know. You can't tell in the broadcast view, but that was the issue. Let's see. You need Justin Fields for this offense to be what the Jets want it to be. You needed to open up Breece, because Breece has had no running lanes the last 2 weeks. He had one like 15-yard rush in this game, and that was it. I did think this was Braylon Allen's maybe best game in the NFL, at least since like the first 2 weeks of last year. He looked pretty good in this game. So I guess
Breece didn't look as good though.
No, but I don't think he had much to work with. I really don't think there was much for Breece. I didn't notice.
I want to say he had barely any yards before contact in this one.
No, he was running into brick walls this whole game.
The right side I thought was better than the left side. Fashanu and Simpson, I think, also were.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was like people will point to the offensive line and say this was an awful offensive line game. I don't think it was a good one. I think this was their worst of the 3. But I think the much bigger issue was they're just sending 7 guys every time. And if you're an offensive line facing 7 rushers every play, you're going to give up pressures. Yeah, it's going to be hard to run the ball when their teams are stacking the box and just sending a blitz. It was a Brian Flores defense. That's what it looked like. It was like
what was the most pathetic play though?
What?
When I think Baker had some sort of like 3rd down run for a 1st down, and Tyler Barron was in the spy, and you just saw him jogging after him.
I will say I don't like that. They Wilkes did a couple of times in this game. One of them it worked, where they had Clemens dropping in the coverage, and then they did it with Tyler Barron too.
They tried some stuff.
The Clemens one worked because Quincy Williams got there for the sack. Hopefully, please be okay, Quincy Williams. But then we saw it afterwards where the Jets converged on Baker. Baker is also like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL at that. He is, I hate to use it, but he's sneaky athletic, man. He's sneaky
he's
athletic.
The one where it fits. Like he actually
is, because you don't realize he's so slippery. Like he will slither out of like sacks so often.
Juked out Quinnen.
He juked out Quinnen. And then again, Tyler Barron in open space, he's just not gonna be able to bring down Baker.
It was the difference in speed. I'm just like, man, this guy.
I get throwing out the exotic blitz, packages like that, where you have, different guys blitz, and then you have the D lineman drop into coverage. But if your D lineman that you're doing it with are Michael Clemens and Tyler Barron, probably your 2 least athletic defensive ends, I don't think that's a good idea. If you're to do it with Braden McGregor. At least can like move a little in open space. What the hell's Michael Clemens going to do in open space?
Like, I don't want to be too, kid gloves here with, we tried some stuff like you're supposed to, but like this team isn't very good.
No,
it's not very good. And I don't think Aaron Glenn, Steve Wilkes, or Tanner Engstrand have the personnel they need. Wilkes might, but now they're all hurt. So I just don't think they have the personnel to do what they want to do.
Look, this Jets team's not going to be good. They're not going to make the playoffs this year. I think going into the year, we said, all right, the offense needs to punch above its weight class. The defense needs to be better than what we've seen so far. The defense is just not good enough to make this a playoff team, given the shortcomings they have on offense. And they needed to avoid any major injuries, which they haven't really, other than Vera Tucker, they haven't had any like long-term major ones, but they lost their starting quarterback. They were already down 2 defensive starters, including Jermaine Johnson, who is an extremely important piece of that defense going into today. Now they just lost Quincy Williams at a position that is already razor thin. Like that linebacker room, we went into the year being like, okay, they have 2 really good linebackers in Quincy and Sherwood and nothing behind them.
Now they have half of one.
Now they have 1 really good linebacker and he's hurt. Sherwood, who's been very bad through 3 weeks, and Marcelino McCrary Ball, Kiko Mauigoa, Cam Jones. Like,
why is he so out of position on every play this year? Sherwood?
Yeah. Oh, sure. I don't know, man. He's been getting torched in zone coverage. Like that's been a big one. I don't know
if there's a chance that because we've always said that they have to probably keep one of the 2. Probably not both. You think there's a chance they just eat it and say we messed up on that contract?
I have no idea what his dead cap is. I haven't checked it because who I didn't think they'd be looking at it after 1 year. Nope, they can't really do that.
They can't do that. Oh, crap.
After this year, after 2026, they can. They would lose $13.5 million in cap space. Post June 1st, they would still eat $6 million in dead cap next year.
You got to be kidding me.
There's no reason to do it now. He's going to be on the roster for 2 years at a minimum. Like that is. I mean,
Will
look,
he be starting is the
it's
question.
3 weeks. I'm not out on Jamie and Sherwood. It's been a rough start to the year.
I'm not either, but you can't look that bad.
No, it's not been
When
good.
you get paid like that.
I do wonder how much of it is a schematic thing. Like he's being asked to probably play. People that know more about defensive coverages than me, I think, would be able to tell you more. But it looks like he's being asked to play a lot of underneath zone coverage, which he's struggling in that a lot. And I don't remember him being asked to do that as much last year. So I wonder how
one
much.
might ask why they would extend a player who's not good in underneath zone coverages when that's what Wilkes does all the time.
Yeah.
That certainly is a query that is up for debate.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm more hopeful that he'll bounce back. I'm actually more concerned about Michael Carter. Like that's the one where
he looks shot
because he looked bad all of last year. Now again, he was playing hurt, so that we wrote it off as like he's playing injured, which I think he's also kind of playing injured now. He's got the shoulder injury too, but that's now 2 years in a row where we're getting bad cornerback play from Michael Carter. Like this is not starting caliber nickel cornerback play, and he's banged up.
And you can't put Thomas in there because
right. You don't really have your backup. Well, your backup nickel would be Malachi Moore, who's currently starting at safety. So now your backup nickel would be Isaiah Oliver, which fine, but obviously you're not going to bench Michael Carter unless you're like totally done with him.
Yeah,
they can move on from him. I'm pretty confident they can move on from him after this year, but that extension is not looking good for the Jets so far.
Let's go to some other comments from chat here. A member will start off with Jeff. Which quarterback will the Jets draft next year?
Francisco Mendoza. John Mateer?
Fernando Mendoza.
I'm sorry, Fernando. I meant Fernando. I know. I've watched him play a lot this year. Indiana. I know.
It looks like if I had to go and guess right now,
yep.
I think there are going to be 4 quarterbacks picked in the first round this year.
Wait, can I guess you? So you're saying Nussmeier, Mendoza,
Sellers,
and is the other one Mateer?
No, I'm going to say Aller. I think
okay.
Aller.
Fair. Aller, yeah.
I think Mateer, there's something about him. I don't know. It seems a little too like
I could see Mateer, and I know
last year in Cleveland Baker where it wasn't that good.
I was about to say I could see him having a Baker like rise late in the draft process where it's like, is this guy a first round pick? And then we get to like April and it's like, is he a top 5 pick? Like I could totally see that happening.
And he's not that big. He's very chaotic. And
no. The Baker comparisons are obvious. Obviously Oklahoma too, and he was a transfer, but like they're obvious.
Of those, like, I don't think the Jets will have the number 1 pick. I hope they don't.
No,
but
maybe this week might be a battle for the number 1 pick.
Oh my God, prime time!
Prime time. No,
I've said it before. Who was the mental giant who made that a prime time game? But so yeah, knowing what Jets fans probably want, what the Jets want to do, I think Sellers would be the best.
Yes.
Pick for them. Nussmeier, I think, too, and then Aller and Mendoza fighting for
Fields starting next year with Sellers developing behind him sounds like a great plan to me.
That does sound good.
I'd be very happy with that.
With Tanner Engstrom, because they're also switching out things.
I'd be very happy with that.
Stephen Farrell. It's exhausting, isn't it? An endless cycle of finding new ways to beat yourself. This wasn't like a self-inflicted wound kind of thing, though. Like,
it was a game.
The fact they were even in that was a minor miracle. That's why I think Glenn still has a good amount of sway on this team, because I thought that they could have just quit like the Bills game, but I thought that they were spirited in that fourth quarter at a time when a lot of bad teams who are young would not have been spirited.
They were down 17 points. They were down 3 scores going into the fourth quarter, and they put together 2 extended scoring drives, and the defense held strong until the end, obviously. I think the talent just isn't there with some of this defense. Like,
and I don't even blame Muji. I just think they had to detonate this whole roster after Joe Douglas and Aaron Rodgers.
I'll blame Muji for Tyler Barron being worse than Michael Clemens. That's a blame Muji moment.
But yeah, again, that's not like he can't be a GM bad.
No, but like, you had what you fixed the defensive tackle room with some late, I thought Juwan Briggs had another good game. I thought Harrison Phillips had a good game. Like they have 3 good defensive tackles right now. And whatever you can get from Leonard Taylor or
that's the best positional unit on this defense.
Weirdly, yeah. Like they have 3 good defensive tackles. Whatever you get from Tufele or Leonard, Leonard Taylor,
who has a great 4th string defensive tackle.
Yeah, that's fine. But your DN room stinks. You drafted a guy and he's the worst of all of them on the roster. And you have 3 guys that are your backup defensive ends, none of whom are good enough to probably be in a normal NFL defensive end rotation. And the worst of them is your 5th round pick. Like, that's a problem.
I don't really remember a ton from preseason or a lot of stuff. Like, was Mauigoa okay or not? Or
I don't think he didn't really pop too much. I don't think he was involved too much. They view him more so as the backup Mike, which that's why McCrary Ball is getting the Quincy reps, because
I think he just stinks.
I agree. Through 3 weeks, it's been rough. The McCrary Ball tape's been rough through 3 weeks. why not throw Cam Jones out there? Like I would put Cam Jones out there. He at least has NFL experience. That's the guy they claimed off waivers from the Chiefs. He's played more in his career than they signed what's his name? Michael Walker as well to the practice squad.
He's a decent player, but I remember I saw him at the Shrine Bowl and they were doing some, I don't know what drill this was. It was like a one-on-one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And James Robinson was there and he juked him so bad that like almost fell through the floor.
No, dude.
What?
I'm sorry, not Jets related, but Najee Harris might have tore his Achilles. He's being carted off.
Oh no.
Carted off of the.
You scared me a little bit. I mean, like obviously
not Jets, not
Harris,
Jets.
but you know.
Not Jets.
You spooked me for a little bit.
Damn.
Jonathan St. Cyrin, sick to my stomach that Will McDonald play was ultimately for nothing.
It got me excited about the Jets. That was fun. It was a fun moment. I jumped up. I jumped up. I had fun.
I don't know. Like,
I had fun watching this game, but I understand. Like I feel like I just don't let losses affect me as I used to. It's probably a product of doing this job and like having to not let your emotions get the best of you. But yeah,
there were no expectations this year anyway. So.
That's also true. They're playing with house money.
John Smith. Very creative name. Same old Jets. Is this a same old Jets game, or is this just this team is bad? I don't know.
Same old Jets until they win. Like, yeah.
Same old Jets is more like
last week,
or those games where Rodgers was really good and the defense just blew it like 4 weeks in a row.
I get the same old Jets sentiment here though, because it's like the defense held you in the game for most of it, and then the last drive where they finally had to make a play, they got torched. I get it. Which was expectable. Like I expected. Like I just think this defense is not going to be a defense that's going to get stops late in games. That's not what they're built to do, which sucks. Like you're not going to win a lot of games, unfortunately, if that's the case. But I think that is.
Spencer Green. All the moral victories are coming out today.
Yep, 2 different ones. We've had 2 different moral victories this year. They're 2-1 in moral victories. So bright side.
A serious question for a lot of these fans, especially the ones with Glenn. What did you expect?
I think they're just sick. I think they're just sick and tired.
One awesome game, one terrible game, and an okay game. There you go.
Well, the awesome game they still lost though. That's the thing. Like I understand the frustrations after decades of looking for silver linings and moral victories. Like I get it. I get the perspective of it. We have to be the voice of reason and be like, look, you gotta, it's 3 games into a new regime. Clearly they're not going to be good this year. But from a fan perspective, I understand the frustration. It's valid.
So let's move on as we get another
speeding
rip-roaring roadster.
Nice.
Coming down to a small town by the beach in New Jersey. That one was even louder than normal.
Nice alliteration there.
Brian Sternbeck. Mason Taylor was uncovered on that near Garrett Wilson on that.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I'm sure he was. I believe it.
This team, I don't care if he's not ready or not. Your offensive passing game depends on finding a number 2. Because look, we've seen bad teams and all that with no receivers. I can't remember in recent history a team with this good of a number 1 and then just nothing after him.
I'm sure there's been. I mean, it's rough. Like
it's
as
bad as this. Let's take Mason Taylor out of it because he's a rookie developing. They obviously think he's going to be very good, and I just don't think he's had the opportunities he's needed to really show that this year. Like, what do they have? Let's say Garrett Wilson, God forbid, has to miss it. Like, God forbid. What is the passing game?
Tyler Johnson, wide receiver 1, baby. Tyler Johnson, wide receiver 1.
All right, you go into a game, Justin. You're a coach. You can't use Garrett Wilson in this example. You go, okay. To beat the Dolphins next week. Our plan is
to beat the Dolphins. Honestly, Alan Lazard might be able to
beat the Cowboys 2 weeks from now.
Okay. I could beat the Dolphins corner.
To beat the Cowboys 2 weeks from now. But what's your point? If you can't say Garrett Wilson, what do you do?
I drop back and I tell Justin Fields that you are probably going to run it 60% of the time. That's what I say. You're probably going to take off 60% of the time. I'm going to keep 3 quarterbacks active because he's going to get hurt. Tyrod's probably going to get hurt, so it's Brady Cook time. Like that's the offensive game plan. Probably.
So Tanner Engstrand, who again, I think he's done some good stuff. I think he just can't do what he wants to do. Mm-hmm. He comes from Detroit's passing game. You think the guy picked up a thing or two at some point?
We'll see. Look, my Engstrand thoughts are week 1 was great. I thought, he could have done a better job in week 2 and week 3, but it's hard to fully evaluate. That's where I'm at. It's like, he's an uncertainty. We're 3 games into this coaching staff. We're 3 games into evaluating Tanner Engstrand as a play caller. That is not enough sample size to evaluate him properly. I know we want, as Aaron Glenn would say, the instant coffee, but It's
But
too early to evaluate. I have more concerns about Wilkes, though, I'll say, than Engstrom.
getting back to that point, though, his success depends on finding a number 2. The only guy with any potential right now, because again, I think Arian Smith will eventually be an okay wide receiver 3 in this league. I think he's got something.
Maybe.
The only guy capable of filling that role on this roster right now is Mason Taylor. You got to figure out some sort of way that he's not just getting dump offs underneath. Like, you got to figure out some way to utilize this guy. And I know he was not this amazing receiving tight end. Like, he was a good receiving tight end, but his selling point was that he's a complete tight end. He blocks, he's in the flat, good in the red zone. Like, that was the selling point with him. You got to figure out something. Because even if you concede Garrett Wilson's the only receiver, you got to have somebody.
I'll tell you what I do. I mix it up. I give other guys a chance. I agree with you, by the way, that they need to get Mason Taylor involved.
But they all suck. That's the thing.
I know Tyler Johnson's not good. I've seen 3 games of him now. I can make that decision. I know Allen Lazard's not good. I know he made that touchdown catch tonight. I know Allen Lazard is not good.
He's mentally checked out, too.
I don't know if Brandon Smith is good. He's played 1 offensive snap in his career. I don't know if Quentin Skinner is good. He's never played a snap in his NFL career.
What about Arian Smith?
Well, Arian Smith's playing regardless. Arian Smith was playing over Allen Lazard today. You absolutely need to absolutely. You keep giving Arian Smith reps. We'll see what he can do with them. I don't know if Stone Smart can be an offensive contributor for this team. I don't know if Jelani Woods can. I'd give it a shot. I'd give them snaps. I'd try them, because what you currently have clearly isn't good enough. Tyler Johnson is not good enough to be a wide receiver 2 or 3 in this league, and he's probably a mid wide receiver 4 at best, right? Allen Lazard doesn't really want to be out there, and I know he caught that touchdown today, but I don't need to see Allen Lazard reps for the rest of the season. I'm done with Allen Lazard. Give reps to the other guys. Give me Brandon Smith. Give me Quentin Skinner. Give me Stone Smart. Give me Jelani Woods. Hell, give me Jamal Pritchett. I don't care. Give me someone else that we're not seeing already.
Zoe Grace, week 3. We're talking about the draft.
Are you new here?
Que sera, man. I don't know.
Are you new here? This is the New York Football Jets, baby. This is what we do.
What did Aaron? This is an under-talented team.
What's the Aaron Glenn quote? We're the freaking New York Jets, and this is what is he?
We're built for this.
We're built for this. Let's talk about the draft. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about looking at Tankathon. I believe they would have the number 1 pick right now, by the way, if
they would. Yes,
if the season ended right now. So fire up Tankathon. We're back.
Brandon R. The problem is we knew they were losing even after the block kick. They have nobody on the.
Yeah, I didn't have a.
They have 4 above-average players on defense,
and one of them's hurt.
And
2 of them hurt. 2 of them are hurt.
2 more of them now.
Yeah, 2 of them are hurt. Quincy and Jermaine are hurt. Yeah. This defense as a whole is not going to be a unit that you want to get you a stop late in games. They're just not going to be able to do it. They're not disciplined enough. They miss way too many tackles in open space. That was the thing too. I thought Josh Grizzard called a really good game for Tampa Bay. Despite the offensive line woes, he was able to go a lot of east-west stuff, a lot of screens, which I thought the Jets, they started getting it involved later in the game. They should have hit that earlier, because if you're facing a defense that is blitzing you 80% of the time, why are you not working a screen game in your offense? Like that's an Engstrom thing where I'm like, you need to be doing a better job of that. Look at what Tampa Bay was able to do, because they were just attacking the Jets in the screen game, and it was killing them.
Grizzard also has better horses than the Jets have.
Still, I thought schematically, like, again, why can't you get Breece Hall involved in the screen game? Tampa Bay going into this game allowed more receiving yards to running backs than any team in the NFL, and they didn't do anything with Breece in the passing game until late in the game.
The Jets screen game is so funny, because I can't remember how many times I was seeing, why don't they try a screen on Twitter? Do you know what Jets fans are like when a screenplay doesn't work?
So why would you try that?
Throw deep.
I know.
Never happy.
It is funny, but I genuinely, like, unironically think they absolutely should have gotten the screen game more involved.
Yeah, this was actually,
and like, also, where's the Stone Smart screen? We saw that in the preseason. It worked pretty well. Let's do that now. Like, that's a guy that can make plays after the catch.
So a lot of good things in the preseason that we're not seeing now.
Further
proof to,
I agree Tanner Engstrom doesn't have a lot to work with, but I think there is more that he could be doing at these last 2 games, more with the offense, and it's a learning experience. So he's his first time calling plays.
Supposed to have it all. I don't know why everybody thought, all right, so the Jets are a cursed NFL franchise, and they need 3 games in, they're supposed to have it all figured out.
No, I get it. I'm not going to rag on people who are upset, because they want to win, man. Like, we haven't seen a lot of wins. I get it. The Jets have had 2 close games where they absolutely could have won both of them, and they choked it away, if you want to use the word choked. Like, they blew it last second. I understand why fans are upset about that, especially after what we've seen for the last few decades.
Brandon R again. Our OC has a chance to learn. Our DC has experience and is not getting it done. Yes, the Wilks is the bigger problem of the two coordinators.
Yeah, although I don't think today was a good indication of that. I thought today was fine.
He did. This was his best game of the year.
I didn't have any issues with really how, like, the defense. Again, I don't think it's going to be a good defense, but nothing stood out to me as like this is a schematic problem.
Yeah, it's just in general, in totality,
it was, you know, Michael Carter can't cover all of a sudden. Jamin Sherwood can't cover in zone coverage. Michael Clemens is a complete liability, but you have nothing else to play there. Like, there weren't, and it was also some amazing ball placement from Baker Mayfield. Again, I thought Baker, like you said earlier, I thought Baker had a great game.
It had to be 3 separate times for Ibuka. Oh, Jesus, when he's making these catches. Like,
he's so good, dude.
He is.
And he might be wide receiver 1 now because Evans tweaked his hammy.
19 he fell to.
That's stupid.
How does this happen?
Dumb.
Brian Sternbeck. Jets are on a slightly better track to start the season than that 2021 team that also started 0-3. They also pulled off an upset against the team that earned the number 1 seed. That was the Titans that year.
That's right. Wow. Forgot about that. Well, I don't think the Dolphins are getting the number 1 seed this year, so it wouldn't be quite the upset.
I would hope not.
Although the Jets, what's the line going to be? Because it's in Miami, right?
It's in Miami, so they're probably going to be the favorite.
By how much, though? Like, genuinely, how
much?
This
seems like a push, man. I don't know.
Like 3 points?
If they played in New York, would the Jets be a favorite? I think they would.
I don't think they would. I think they still wouldn't. I think the Jets get.
Do you think the Dolphins would be a favorite if they played in New York?
I think the Dolphins would be like a 1-point favorite if they played in New York. Or in East Rutherford, my bad.
Brandon R. I wanted them to fake some end arounds to slow the edge pressures. The problem is they just don't have as Justin is giggling his ass off.
We got a quote from Baker.
All right,
talking about beating the Jets, said their D coordinator, Steve Wilks, was the guy who cut me in Carolina. A lot of stuff was personal today.
I forgot about that. Oh my God.
A lot of stuff was personal today. Hassan Reddick, former Jet. A lot of people.
That's what pissed me off when Braylon Allen got stuffed.
Oh yeah,
dude. Made the tackle. Why is it always?
Reddick's been really good for them.
The Jets never have revenge games on everybody.
Really don't.
Everybody leaves the Jets gets a revenge.
They really don't.
They are such jobbers. It's crazy.
I don't want to say this shit, but like others have pointed this out. I think it was Badlands was talking about this. The Jets are kind of soft. Like, and I hate just throwing that around there, but like you look at their top players, they don't have like Baker Mayfield mentality with their top players, which I know this is kind of derivative to talk about, right? Because like Sauce Gardner is who he is. Sauce Gardner is not going to be this rah-rah in-your-face guy. Like, that's just not who he is. Quentin Williams is never going to be that guy. Neither is Garrett Wilson. Like that, Breece Hall. That's not who they are. But they don't have that attitude that I think a lot of winning teams do. And obviously, you're not going to win this year.
Was Fields supposed to be part of that, though?
Really. Fields doesn't really have that either. Like,
people buy into him, though.
Like, on that offense, John Simpson, that's someone who immediately stands out as, all right, this is an attitude guy. This is the first guy. If Fields gets hit late, he's going to be the guy that rushes over and may, pulls him away, right? And gets in your face and pushes you around. Michael Clemens is that guy, but he stinks. Like, they don't really have though. Even Quincy can be like, he's a hard as hell. He plays hard as hell, but he's too nice. He's a happy-go-lucky guy.
Not even that. It's more like part of what makes guys scary, in my opinion, sometimes can be ruthlessness. Like, and he's hitting guys hard. And Quincy is almost too chaotic in a way where like there's not that efficiency. He's just Quincy, I'm crazy kind of guy. And then that's not as,
Quincy runs around the field and makes plays like kind of like a Troy Polamalu type where it's just like, holy shit, this dude's flying everywhere, right?
Which is funny because off the field, you talk about soft. Find me a softer guy off the field than
he's so nice.
Troy Polamalu.
Nice. Oh, same with Quincy.
But on the field, he's nuts. So.
Right. Quincy, I don't know. He's not the issue, but I think there's something to be said about this Jets team kind of lacking that killer instinct, lacking that attitude, right? That mentality. And there's only so much that you get dudes who could do it. Like, there's only so much you could do as a coaching staff at a point. Like, because I think Aaron Glenn's got that mentality. I don't know so much about Wilkes and Engstrand, but I think Aaron Glenn has that mentality.
People are trying to say, "Oh, it's performative." I'm like, nah, I don't think that's.
No, it's not. That's who he is. Aaron Glenn is the.
Every single person who has known Aaron Glenn his entire career
calling Aaron Glenn performative is hilarious. That's the last thing he is.
People are just lashing out at
he will be his genuine self to the day he dies, probably to a fault sometimes. And that's just who he is, and you have to learn to accept that. But if you see him yelling at Arian Smith when Arian Smith messes up, that is not him being performative. That is him being genuinely mad at Arian Smith and using that moment as a teaching moment for
Isn't that what you wanted, Jets fans?
Yes. Accountability, all that. Like, yes. But I think
accountability means getting rid of of all the bad players and bringing in good players that make us undefeated. That's what accountability is.
Yeah. As
Brian Sternbeck, if this team drops
I was gonna say, we'll do that one first. We'll do this one. No, we'll do that.
We'll do this one first.
All right, you're too kind.
Schefter pregame was basically announcing how the Buccaneers were ready to bring back Tristan Wirfs and Chris Godwin, but gave them an extra bye week to recover today.
Yeah, I saw that. They were like they could push them, but they don't need
Tyrod Taylor. Come on.
Right. And they didn't need him. They didn't need him.
Brian Sternbeck, if this team drops to 0-6, though, we're going to have some real hot seat conversations for
Wilkes would be the first to go. Wilkes would be the first to go of all of them. Again, Wilkes has had his last 3 DC gigs. I believe he's lasted 1 year, at least the last 2. He lasted 1 year in San Francisco, lasted 1 year in Cleveland, and Carolina. Well, Carolina, he was there for multiple years, right? Because he also became interim head coach.
He was there, but he got hired from Arizona.
My bad. Hold on. Carolina. I forgot he wasn't even DC in Carolina. He became and he also was in Carolina for 1 year.
Well, he came back. He was
DC earlier, but I'm talking about 2022 when he became interim head coach. But yeah, he was also obviously head coach in Arizona for 1 year. So he's had a lot of 1 year.
I'm looking at the Jets schedule before they have 5 games left before the bye.
Yeah.
You tell me how many wins are here.
No, hold on. Miami, they got to beat Miami.
Miami.
They got to beat Miami. Like, this offense can't look bad against Miami.
What if they look good and lose? What if it's Steelers again?
I'm pissed. I'm mad.
All right.
The Dolphins stink. They need to beat the Dolphins. Like, you need to win one of these games.
Yeah. Dallas at home.
They're going to lose that. I mean, obviously, we never know. Football's weird, but like on paper, they should.
The Browns just beat the Packers. I mean,
the Browns defense is, the Browns defense is really good. Like, they have a really good defense.
So, yeah, Dallas, after that, Denver and London.
Could get a Bo Nix stinky game. You never know.
Carolina at home. I think you got to win that.
That's another one where it's like, man, you gotta do something here.
And then Jake Browning led Bengals on the road.
Well, who knows if it will still be Jake Browning by then? I don't.
Well, no, they said Burrow. From what didn't Glazer say?
Well, no, it's not going to be Burrow. But I'm like, after what just happened today, like,
like they're going to go to who even is there?
Kirk or Winston or whoever. Like, I don't think they want to punt on the season.
Who is their backup quarterback?
What's Jake Browning? Oh, they signed. They didn't.
They just added Mike White. Jets legend Brett Rippon.
And they have Mike White on the practice.
And they have Mike White. You know what's going to happen? Mike White revenge game. That's what's going to happen. Or Brett Rippon revenge game.
Playing for the Bengals against the Jets.
The Bengals.
Oh, my God. That'd be so
the storyline has been set in stone, Justin Fried.
You're so right. Oh, my God. You're so right. God damn it.
Like, we were talking, we'll peek behind the screen. We brought Josh Hill on, who runs the Pewter Playing for Fanside on our show Wednesday, and we're talking to him throughout the game. And, he is a little bit pessimistic as a Bucs fan where he's like, they're going to blow this in this situation.
Like, they're not against the Jets.
Because they do blow a lot of late game leads, even though they win a lot.
Well, not this year. They've won 2-3 like late game situations.
The Jets suckage will always overwhelm your other suckage.
Every other suckage.
I remember the only thing that got me a little he was like, McLaughlin's missing this kick. I'm like, he could kick this backwards with his left foot, and he's making this kick.
I want to see Brandon Aubrey start kicking lefty.
They could have made. Or do you remember the AFL when they had those goalposts that were like 6 inches?
Yeah.
He could have been kicking on that. He would have made it.
Dude, they you know what they should? New idea. This is $1 million idea. Hire me, NFL. The NFL for the All-Star Weekend should do like a trick shot competition. They should.
I thought they did that already.
Did they really? Am I just? I actually didn't.
I think it's one of those like kicking it. No, I'm thinking of the Madden mini game.
No. What they should do?
Shade the you know.
Here's what they do. No, wait, no. But here's what they need to do. Dunk contest style. Have 3 judges. I'm so serious. I just saw this on the spot. This is a brilliant idea. They should have 3 judges, and they should have kickers go up there and do the craziest trick shots. And you know what? Fuck it. Anyone can do it. Doesn't have to be kickers. You want to get Ndamukong Suh kicking again?
Quinnen Williams. Yeah.
You want to get Quinnen Williams kicking? Absolutely. Let's see it. Let's watch it happen. That'd be so fun. I think that's such a good idea.
Brandon R. The Bengals can find Boyle somehow to burn us. Don't you dare put that in the universe.
I don't believe Tim Boyle is currently employed, right? He didn't get picked up after the Texans.
I don't think he did. No, he didn't.
Sure. You never know. No,
he's still listed as an American professional football quarterback, not former.
He's not retired.
He's not retired.
The Titans cut him. My bad.
They cut him. So
yeah.
After one preseason game, they're like, okay, we can't.
We've seen enough. They're like, man.
And that's the two are a much worse coach team than the Jets right now. But
yeah.
man, Brian Callahan, man, he is hot boogers as a coach.
That is the worst coaching staff in the NFL. I feel bad for Cam Ward. Like
Denard Wilson's okay.
Cam Ward needed to go to a place. Yeah, well, shout out Denard Wilson, former Jets coach, but he needed to go to a situation that was anything remotely different than what they have in Tennessee. Like, it's just everything about that coaching staff is terrible, or at least the offensive coaching staff.
With that, I think it's about time to call time on this Jet Press podcast. 0-3 and heading into a primetime 0-3.
Stink off. 0-3 versus 0-3.
Because I think that's one of only 2 primetime games the Jets have this year.
It's the only primetime. They have a
no, they play Thursday night.
Oh, they play Thursday. Wait, when do they play? Who do they play Thursday?
Week 11, they play the Patriots. Who did you see all those turnovers they had?
I saw a couple. Oh, Ramondre fumbled twice, right?
Antonio Gibson fumbled. Oh. May fumbled.
I saw a really bad Rodgers.
He threw one pick at the 2 and then had another pick just dropped.
Steelers won though, right?
What?
Steelers
won, yeah. So
look,
and the Jets technically performed better than the Patriots did against them. So
Rodgers got some nice counting stats. I've seen a few
he's
dropped picks, some stuff where I'm like, ooh, he's still making similar plays to the Jets. He's just getting luckier because he's not with the Jets anymore.
Yeah, Buffalo is going to clinch this division by
so bad.
Halloween.
Dude, I'm sincere when I say this. There is still a chance the Jets are the second best team in the division. Which is not saying anything.
I mean, the Patriots probably are, but I mean,
yeah, the Patriots probably are, but the Jets are probably a bottom 6 team in the NFL right now, and you can make a case they're the second best team in the NFL.
Patriots are what, a bottom 10 team?
Yeah, and Dolphins are also bottom 6 with the Jets. The Dolphins might be worse than the Jets.
Dolphins have better players, but
right, talent-wise, they shouldn't be.
The vibes are 10 times worse.
Vibes are immaculately terrible. Who was going to be starting? Didn't Jason Marshall get banged up in that game too? Who's starting for the Dolphins at corner in this Jets game? This next week,
I think I am.
So
they're off the rust.
Their starting corners are supposed to be Storm Duck, Jack Jones, and Jason Marshall. By the way, Jack Jones, who they picked up off the scrap heap before the season started. Jason Marshall, a rookie 5th-round pick, and Storm Duck, who was an undrafted
Douglas,
player.
Ethan Bonner.
Right. So this week, since Duck and Marshall got hurt, it's likely to be Jack Jones, Rasul Douglas, Ethan Bonner. Ethan Bonner, who's the worst of the 3 white cornerbacks in the NFL. I believe
he's probably going to have a good game because
I think it's only 3, right? Cooper
is Josh Reynolds just dead or?
He's got the hamstring. They also have 2 former Jets safeties, Ashton Davis and Elijah Campbell, and they picked up Juju Brents. I forgot about that, Juju Brents. And
the fact they're going to make that secondary look good is,
dude. I'm gonna stake my claim right now. You put Brandon Smith out there next Monday, right? Monday night. You put Brandon Smith out there Monday night. He catches 4 passes, 60 yards. Which is not, that doesn't sound like a lot.
Garrett Wilson, anybody outside of Garrett Wilson can't hit that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm so serious. I feel fairly confident in that.
I mean, you want to at least try Arian Smith first? I don't know.
Well, they are trying him. He started today. He played probably the 2nd or 3rd most receiver reps. He was out there way more than Lazard. He was one of their starting 3 receivers.
So with that, we're going to go call time on the Jet Press podcast. Justin.
Yeah, man.
I haven't a tear left to shed. Any final thoughts?
I do. There's plenty of tears to come, man. This is not. We're gonna cover much worse games than this one. There are many more losses to come. There will be worse, just I don't know, inept performances.
It won't even be funny bad though. Last year was funny bad.
This one was my least upset. Week 1. I wasn't upset after week 1. But
Barney Miller, 2-1 with moral victories.
2-1 with moral victories, and that's what counts, right? The good thing is,
I will say for the moral victories crowd, Tampa's now 3-0. Pittsburgh is 2-1.
Yeah,
they were right with them.
Look, Jets are 2-1 in moral victories and 0-3 in the Tankathon standings, and that's what matters.
Not to just polish a turd here. I've seen worse 0-3 starts this year.
Yes. No, the Jets aren't the worst team in the league. I think they're bottom 6.
The Texans are 0-3, which is crazy.
Dude, that offensive line, because the offensive line sucks. CJ Stroud's regressing because the O-line stinks so bad. That offense is.
My guy Trevor Lawrence had the worst throw I've seen in 2 weeks on that pick, and
I didn't see
somehow he won.
Who picked it?
Jalen Petrie.
I missed that one.
And then Nico Collins got to the 20 and just fumbled.
I saw that. I got Nico in fantasy. He had a good game other than that because he was left wide open on one play. But anyway. Yeah, man. We'll be back on Wednesday. Thank you all for joining us on the show today. You can follow Mike on Twitter at @ByMikeLuciano. Follow me on Twitter, Justin T. Fried. Follow the Jet Press at the Jet Press. Download the Jet Press podcast wherever you get your podcast. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe, like, hit the notification bell. You can also follow us on TikTok and become a member today. Is 99 cents, and you get your comments prioritized in chat, which is, as you've seen, very good for these post-game shows where we get a lot of comments. We stream live every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time and live immediately following every single Jets game. Thank you all for listening to Jet Press Podcast. I've been Justin Fried. That is Mike Luciano. See you guys next time.
When does it get to be my turn, man? Eventually?
Maybe.
I'm counting on you, Aaron Glenn.